Many financial experts preach the get-rich-slow strategy work for decades, save a little, and hope to retire comfortably. But data shows most Americans following the script end up with little to show for it. Why do you think this approach is still so widely accepted?
It's mostly a matter of ingrained cultural beliefs and institutional inertia. The slow lane is promoted by schools, family, and even government policies. People trust it because it's familiar and seems safe, but the reality is, it's often a recipe for lifelong mediocrity and delayed dreams.
That's a sharp contrast to the MTV Cribs fantasy we see in the media, where young people enjoy massive wealth. Yet, the typical path rarely delivers that. Can you explain the disconnect?
Absolutely. The fantasy is that you can reach those heights by just being diligent. But in reality, the few who get rich young usually don't follow slow accumulation. They're often entrepreneurs, inventors, or creators who leverage scalable vehicles, something the get-rich-slow roadmap doesn't teach.
Let's dig into this idea of the fast lane. The book argues wealth isn't just about money, but living rich while you're young and healthy. How does the fast lane philosophy reshape our notion of retirement?
The fast lane flips retirement on its head. Instead of waiting until old age, it focuses on building wealth rapidly so you can enjoy freedom, travel, and vibrant experiences now. It's about achieving financial independence decades earlier, not just surviving until your golden years.
So, under the fast lane model, the real golden years aren't at the end of life, but can happen much sooner?
Exactly. The book even uses the analogy of the Panama Canal as a shortcut compared to the long, dangerous sea route. Fastlaners seek that shortcut, not by luck, but through deliberate, high-impact action and value creation.
A lot of listeners might assume you need exceptional talent, a famous name, or elite credentials to get rich fast. Does the fast lane philosophy challenge this assumption?
Absolutely. The author's own story going from a struggling, so-called C student to a multimillionaire demonstrates that you don't need fame, an Ivy League degree, or athletic prowess. Most fast wealth comes from solving real problems at scale, not from pedigree.
That's empowering. Can you give an example of someone who succeeded without traditional advantages?
Yes, the book is packed with stories, from the author's own journey building a limo referral website to forum members who started businesses with little more than grit and creativity. The theme is consistent resourcefulness beats credentials.
The book uses a powerful analogy. Wealth isn't just a road, but a road trip with multiple moving parts. How does this analogy help us understand wealth creation differently?
It's a great metaphor. Just like a road trip needs a reliable vehicle, a map, fuel, and a driver, wealth requires more than a single tactic. Many people focus on just one ingredient like saving or investing, but ignore the process, systems, and personal growth needed to reach their destination.
So, focusing solely on the event like a business exit or lottery win misses the underlying journey?
Exactly. The fast lane emphasizes process over events. Building wealth is a series of small, strategic actions, not a single lucky break. It's the difference between baking with a full recipe and just throwing sugar in a pan and hoping for cookies.
The book divides financial mindsets into 3 roadmaps: the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. Can you clarify what characterizes the sidewalk and slow lane approaches?
Sure, the sidewalk is a mindset of instant gratification, living for today, often with little savings or planning think paycheck to paycheck. The slow lane is about deferred gratification, working for decades, investing modestly, hoping compound interest will eventually provide comfort, though statistically, it rarely delivers true wealth in your prime years.
Are there statistics or signs listeners can use to recognize if they're stuck on these paths?
Definitely. Census data reveals that most Americans have shockingly low net worth even into their 40s and 50s. If you're always one mishap away from financial disaster, or your wealth equation is income plus debt, it's a clear sign you're on the sidewalk or slow lane.
Now, let's talk about the fast lane roadmap, the alternative path. What are its core principles, and how do they create rapid exponential wealth instead of linear progress?
The fast lane's core is leveraging scalable systems businesses, products, or platforms that aren't tied directly to your hourly labor. It's about control, entry, need, time, and scale, the commandments of the fast lane. Instead of trading time for money, You build assets that generate income whether you're working or not.
How does this look in practice?
Take the author's Limo website. By automating lead generation and building a platform, income grew without more hours worked. The result? Wealth built exponentially, not in a slow, linear grind.
One striking lesson is that even high earners can end up broke. Money alone isn't enough. Why doesn't a bigger paycheck guarantee lasting wealth?
It's counterintuitive, but true. Without financial discipline and a solid roadmap, more income just fuels higher spending. The book describes income-rich sidewalkers, athletes, musicians, or lottery winners who blow millions and end up bankrupt. The core issue is mindset and process, not income.
So, changing your relationship with money, seeing it as a tool, not a toy, is fundamental.
Exactly. The Fastlane teaches that unless you transform your habits and beliefs, no windfall will stick. True wealth comes from systems, not salary.
Society often defines wealth by flashy cars, big houses, and indulgence. But the book presents a different perspective. What is the wealth trinity according to the Fastlane?
The wealth trinity reframes wealth as family, fitness, and freedom. It's about deep relationships, vibrant health, and the freedom to live life on your terms. Money is just a tool to support these, not the end goal. Research supports this. Studies show happiness plateaus after basic financial needs are met.
How does this shift affect people's long-term fulfillment?
It encourages people to use wealth as a means to enrich their lives, rather than chase status symbols. It's a more sustainable, holistic vision for success.
The author's journey was filled with setbacks, failed businesses, dead-end jobs, and even skepticism from loved ones. What role does taking control play in making the leap to the fast lane?
Taking control is pivotal. The author's turning point came from realizing he could change his environment, not just his actions. It's about shifting from victimhood to ownership, choosing to move, learn new skills, and take calculated risks. Psychology calls this an internal locus of control, which is tightly linked to entrepreneurial success.
So even the single decision like moving to a new city can start a chain reaction towards success?
Absolutely. It's about exercising agency, even in small ways. Each choice builds momentum, leading to greater opportunities and breakthroughs.
Let's revisit the process versus event mentality. Many people idolize the big paydays or viral successes. Why does the book insist that process is everything?
Because every so-called overnight success is actually years in the making. The event, a business sale, a bestseller, or a breakthrough is just the visible tip. Underneath is the grind, learning, iterating, failing, and improving. By focusing on process, you build skills and systems that make success almost inevitable with time.
Can you share a real-world analogy for this?
Sure, think of an athlete. The big win is the event, but the daily training, diet, and discipline are the process. Ignore the process, and the event never comes.
For listeners inspired by these ideas, what practical steps can they take to start shifting onto the fast lane, regardless of age or background?
First, audit your beliefs. Are you following the crowd, or thinking independently about wealth? Next, identify a scalable problem to solve, learn relentlessly, and connect with communities like the Fastlane Forum. Small, consistent actions, building skills, launching side projects, seeking feedback add up exponentially over time.
And what's your advice for those feeling discouraged by setbacks or slow progress?
Embrace setbacks as part of the process. Every failure is a tuition payment for the skills you'll need later. Stay persistent, keep learning, and remember the fast lane is open to anyone willing to drive it.